Marcus Aurelius is much more important. How does he rule? With military might or what?
Yes.
No. Like, is he holding a sword? Like, that's complete. No. He's sort of like speaking, right? Like, he's sort of like that philosopher. And then Rachel mentioned his eyes. His eyes look weird. And does he look young and idealized and strong? No. He looks more philosophical, sort of tired. I mean, by now the empire is colossal. And it's really an exhausting feat. And he had those writings that I showed you. And so he's sort of like really, he's showing his personality in this sculpture, which is sort of interesting, okay? And there used to be a barbarian underneath here, and he's sort of like trampling over him, but he's sort of like ruling with, his wisdom, okay? And so, it's hard to write an essay about this. I wouldn't ever necessarily do that. But, this is a very, very famous sort of like equestrian sculpture. And this equestrian sculpture will be the foundation of all future sort of equestrian sculptures, that we'll see. And so, these, you can sort of have this as like your first stuff, okay? There you go, okay? All right, then, after a series of amazing emperors, you have Commodus, who is Marcus Aurelius' actual son. So he doesn't adopt people. And here we go. Who is he dressed up as? How do you know?
The lion.
Yeah, the lion. And how would you describe his personality?
Warlike.
Warlike, idealized, yes, definitely godlike. What else? Look at his face. Yeah.
Old, what?
So like a fool, like an idiot. Like look at his eyes. Doesn't he just sort of like? What is he saying about himself?
That he's great.
Yeah, and that he's Hercules. Who does that, right? He's dressing himself up, and who, like, it looks like one of those little like kid toddler shower. Like who does that? Let me put like a lion head over my head, and look at this little bow tie thing with a paws, right? Like we tie a little cute little knot, right? I'm Hercules, and he just looks sort of like, and he's holding those golden apples. He has a tag, and so he fashions himself after Hercules, and he's just a fool. And like I said before, you literally have within 12 years the beginning of the downfall of the Roman Empire, and it is because of him. Can you imagine 12 years, just done, okay? And so this is the beginning of the end towards 200, okay? Yeah, crazy. All right, so we have looked at the Roman Republic, and how would you describe these sculptures, the busts of the Roman Republic? Veristic or idealistic? Veristic, good. Then Augustus comes around, in power for a long time. During that time, you also have Pompey, right? So you have mountains, so he's erupts pretty much after he dies. So you have Augustus and Jesus. You need to remember that. So that's 0. And so they're at the same time, okay? Jesus and Augustus. And so what happens to royal? What's it called? Portraiture after that. With Augustus, is it veristic or is it idealistic?
Idealistic.
Idealistic, right? He's always young. He's always strong, right? And then you have all the crazies, so they're all Nero's going to be pretty idealistic, et cetera. Nero dies, right? And then remember, we have a new set of emperors, and then they turn to Verism, okay? So they're all pretty veristic during the High Empire, and then we move into the late Empire. I cannot talk today. So late Empire of Rome, okay? And so, or late Roman Empire. So you have a whole new series. Rome is beginning to crumble. And these emperors cannot hold on to the throne long enough. They're assassinated, things fall apart, they're constantly at war. And so people cannot really recognize their images as much, the veristic. So what's going to happen, you think, to their images? Veristic or idealistic? Idealistic, right? They want to appear strong and young. And another thing you want to note is that things are going to move towards abstraction, okay? That is different from veristic, because veristic shows pimples and wrinkles. What does abstract mean again? Who remembers?
No.
Abstract. More simplistic, right? Not as detailed, so abstracted. And then the message is going to become more important. And what is the message that these emperors want to bring to the people, you think? That they're powerful? that their power will continue on, or they're trying to, right? And so that sort of, in general, is the goal, okay? You're going to have a whole series. You're going to have the Severins, the soldier emperors, just like a bajillion of them, like over and over. And then towards the end, like in the middle, you'll have you'll have Diocletian and then Constantine. So for this period, Constantine is the most important guy, okay? So it should be easy for you. For early empire, who is the key emperor? Augustus, okay? For high empire, there's a few. There's Hadrian, Trajan, Marcus Aurelius, okay? So there's one, and then there's three, and then for the late, it's Constantine. So everybody else, like Argentitus, like it's sort of side, okay? Augustus, you have your three, and then you have Constantine, who's our key person. Really important for you to know, okay? So, and then I always know he's in the 300s because of the arch has threes. All right, so a couple things that Constantine will do. Number one is that he's going to do the Edict of Milan. The Edict of Milan allows the freedom of religion, and that is a huge deal. Okay, the Edict of Milan will now allow Christianity to flourish. And this is huge because with state sponsorship, churches will rise. And when you have state sponsorship alongside church, then what are you going to start having with the art? What can you start doing? Like more Christian art, right? Like, good. So that's what the Edict of Milan allows. It's like 310 or something like that. Okay, 313. Okay, and then what he's going to do is he's going to move the capital to Constantinople, which is present day what city? Did you not sing that song when you were little, like in class? Like, yeah. Istanbul, right? Okay, good. So Istanbul. I would know that if you don't know that. So Constantinople is present day Istanbul. And before it was called Constantinople, what was it called? Yes.
You don't know?
Yeah, Byzantium, right? It's Byzantium. All right. So Byzantium, Constantinople, Istanbul. Now let's talk about how he gets into. Well, I'll talk about how he gets into power. Okay. So the key things: Edict of Milan, and then he moves where we are. So the Severins in the 200s, this dynasty. You have Septimius Severus, okay, and you have the family. Now look at this portrait, right? What is it? First of all, what is it? What is it? Painting. Good painting. And what's weird about this painting? What do you mean? Okay, the eyes are big and he's probably our first African descended emperor. So no, look at the portrait.
You're looking that way? Is that weird?
The kid. It's missing someone.
Yeah, it's missing a face, right? And it's missing a face by accident? Like, did it just happen in his screen? Like, right there? No, it's clearly on purpose, right? So, this is Caracalla. This was Geta, his older brother. And what happened was that, apparently, Caracalla, who's evil, okay, he plotted along with his mother to kill his brother, okay, so that he could take the throne, right? So he literally, the mother, like, like sometimes brothers and sisters are crazy like that, right? But like, what mother does that to one of their child? You know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy, right? So they plotted together. They eventually killed the older brother so that Caracalla could take over. So Caracalla took over, and then all throughout the kingdom, he made every image of his brother to be scraped off, essentially saying what?
He's never existed.
Yeah, he never existed, right? And so, what other king or queen did we see that happen to a long time ago? Hatshepsut, right? Hatshepsut, remember she was the regent, and then like she took over, and like so he was pissed. Okay, so is that it's unbelievable to me, right? But like you would do that to your own brother, right? Like crazy. Power destroys. How would you describe him?
Angry looking dude.
Yeah, isn't he fierce? Like scary, fierce. You just know what's gonna happen to you if you get in his way. Yeah, he's gonna kill you. If he's gonna kill your brother, he doesn't care about you at all. You know what I mean? And so, did you get a haircut? It looks really good.
Oh yeah, I did. Thank you.
Yeah. And so Caracalla, look at him, like really deep set eyes. So this is pretty veristic, okay? Like after this dynasty, we'll move into abstraction, okay? So it's pretty veristic, like, you know, he just looks, I don't know, he's scary. Okay? So this whole tradition of portraiture continues on. Like, they all want to do this, you know, to show people who is in charge. And so here we go. But he will still do this bath. So you can sort of see this as an example of a bath. You can see the caldarium, which is hot water, tepid, you know these words, right? Like, isn't it caldo mean like hot? Yeah. Cauldron, you know, good, yeah. Like, isn't that a Spanish word?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, thank you so much. Good. What is it called?
Calderón. I mean, it's like the thing you used to, if I remember correctly. I mean, I speak Spanish fluently, but I might be like confused. But yeah, it's the thing like you put like the hot water to boil.
Yeah, I love Spanish. It's like such a sexy language. Don't you think it's a sexy language when you
Yeah,
speak it?
I like sometimes seduce myself when I'm speaking it. It's like that.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I sound really hot. Good,
Yeah.
good. Tepid just means lukewarm, and then frigid, cold, you know. And so you have essentially underneath, you have like the fire, okay? Swimming pool, gymnasium, it just seems very fun, okay? Now, take a look at this part right here, these X's. Whenever you see an X on a plan, even though I told you before, like an architectural plan is like sort of like a roof blown off, they do show the vaulting. So this indicates to you that this is a growing vault. So throughout time, whenever you see X's, that's a growing vault, okay? A barrel vault is gonna just be empty, like it's like the ceiling is off, okay? So growing essentially like reflects like a skeletal system. Okay, good. Down. A couple of these are pretty decent essays, they're not bad, yeah.
Wait about.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about funerary practices. And maybe we'll talk about Constantine's funeral. Do you want to have your test on Wednesday?
No. Friday.
Thursday. Then tomorrow, please bring stuff to study. Do you know what I mean? Like tomorrow would be a really great time for you to, and I'll go over what the test is like so you can sort of prepare yourself. But tomorrow, if you can bring your flashcards, you can separate into groups, you know, maybe play some games so it's fun, you know, and really start memorizing that, okay? All right, so here we go. Something that I would note is that Romans will start burying instead of cremating. And then they're going to also put the remains, these large remains, because now you're not cremating anymore. And this is probably because of a Christian influence as well. Okay, so just because Christianity is banned does not mean that it's not that there's underground churches. There's also like underground, like there's going to be burial tombs for Jews, a separate one for you know, people who are still like Greek God believers, and then separate tomb for Christians and separate tomb for whatever else. Okay, so like you know, this is probably influenced by Christianity. And so you're going to have these demands for sarcophagi. What's a sarcophagi here? Coffin. Where did we see the first sarcophagi really that we've ever really seen?
Etruscan.
Etruscan. Good. The Etruscans. Do you remember? And what did they make those out of? Terracotta. Remember, Etruscan is terracotta. Do you remember them banqueting? Like sort of flat, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Now they're going to take that idea, and what are they going to make their sarcophagi out of? Instead, marble in this case, because it's sculpture, small sculpture, not buildings. Okay. So we'll take a look at this here. Okay. You have essentially they're set against a wall, so usually the fronts are very, very complex. So who's the most important person here? Can you tell?
The big one.
Yeah, in the middle, he's a pride of place, and he's a little bit bigger. Doesn't he seem bigger? Right, hierarchical scale, and he's sort of like out there, right? So he was, you know, Ludovisi is not his name. That's like a guy who bought it later. So this is probably like the central person here. So you have a huge battle scene. Look at these Romans. Like, isn't this amazing, right? Like, pretty detailed. And then you have, look, and this is my favorite guy, the stripper. How cute is he? His little cheeks, like he's actually like blood, like that. It's just so cute, right? So you have the trumpeter, and then here in the bottom is going to be who? Are they Roman soldiers? No, barbarians, essentially, right? So they're battling their enemy. And so you have this really beautiful, detailed, you know, sarcophagus. It's very sort of, you know, there's a lot of stuff happening. It's very dynamic. So there you go, okay? Diocletian Now, what Diocletian decides to do, okay? Well, first of all, this is